Do you and your partner want to learn simple ways to grow closer?
Do you and your partner want to grow happier together?
Do you and your partner want to be a unified front?
Do you and your partner want to divorce-proof your marriage?
If you answer yes to these questions, you need to check out our book, Unlock It Forever, 10 Keys to a Successful Marriage Beyond I Do.
Each section focuses on a different aspect of marriage and briefly describes how we handled it in our relationship. At the end of the section, you're given an action step or key to complete with your partner.
These keys are practical steps you can immediately implement in your relationship and help you and your partner be proactive and intentional about your relationship.
You can purchase your copy on Amazon.com.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all. After over 25 years of marriage, we've learned that successful couples have great friendships, put each other first, and focus on light just as much as love. We believe marriage should be fun and easy.
Our goal is to share our journey with the hopes of helping others build strong, happy relationships. Join us as we continue to create our lives beyond I do.
Before we get into our episode, we want to share this disclaimer. We are not marriage counselors, nor are we mental health professionals. We simply want to share with you what has worked in our marriage. Now, on to our episode.
Thank you all for joining us again on this episode of Beyond I Do podcast. We have a special guest coming to you from Catch the Tea podcast group. She's one of 4 fantabulous, great young individuals who are in the podcast atmosphere, and they are doing their thing. Coming to you by way of Catch the Tea, we have True Lady.
Yes, this is she, a true lady.
All right. Now, what makes you a true lady? No, stop.
See, starting already. And I call myself a true lady because I try to stay as true as possible to everything that I do. You know, whatever it may be, I'm going to be as true as possible. I'm going to take the good with it and take the bad with it because, you know, speaking your truth sometimes comes with bad and comes with you being accountable for things. So that's genuinely it.
So when your friends, when your circle come to you and they ask you questions, do they know to be prepared for the truth?
Yep.
Yeah, you know, and I think sometimes, like, you know, people nervous because sometimes I'm like, well, what about this? Or what about this? Or there's never a, you can't do it. It's like you can't do it that moment. Like, well, yes, you can because this is an option and that is an option and this is an option. So I think sometimes I get on people nerves because I do it.
My advice comes with a disclaimer because I'm gonna tell the truth.
Yeah.
So I don't give advice unless someone asks, because if you ask, you've invited and you're paying. Right. And so you're gonna get the truth. So if you would tell us a little bit more about a True Lady and CTT Media Group and podcast.
Yes, definitely. So a True Lady has been making social media content for the past 16 years, like when the internet was the internet before, you know, before Twitter and before Instagram. You know, I was making YouTube videos of me talking, just randomly talking about random topics and just calling it Twittergate and doing poetry and doing acting and all kind of things of that nature. And from there, from me doing YouTube videos, I actually got on radio. I started working at a radio station as a secretary doing clerical work. And I showed them my YouTube videos and said, let me be on air. And I was on radio for 8 years and trying to keep up with the move of social media and radio, because, you know, radio just had a moment where it was fizzing out.
Right.
I figured out, how do I keep the people that are listening to me on air, and then the people that were there with me online on YouTube, how do I keep them together and, in one place?
Right.
And so I started to do a website, a blog.
Okay.
And then I actually started a blog with someone else first, and then I went on to my own blog, and then I started Instagram blogging, and then I started making tea videos, and then I started podcasting. I was going podcasting on Podomatic, and it was like my own small radio show. And then I met a group of people. We started podcasting, and then I started doing my own podcast. And from there, CTT podcast just grew. When I tell you, I've had like so many people on Catch the Tea podcast. I mean, friends, associates, family members. I mean, social media influencers, rappers. I mean, just you name it, they've been on Catch the Tea podcast. And then finally, I wanted to start taking Catch the Tea podcast a bit serious and stop with the rotating guests. I wanted to have like a solidified cast. And it was a lot of tests and trials. There was a lot of people that came and said it constantly. And then finally this last cast, they stuck. The chemistry was there. I mean, it was like, okay, this feels right. So building off of that and growing it to what it is today is just, it's been a journey, and I don't think you cannot appreciate the journey without recognizing like the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, and just still saying like, we made it through that, so yeah.
So, and this is going to sound like an odd question, but as a child, what did you want to do growing up?
Oh my goodness. So as a child, it was so much. Okay, first off, I talked a lot, so as I am doing now. But as a child, I would record myself on tapes. And I was already on the radio. And there were times where I wanted to be a doctor as well. There were times where I knew that I wanted to do something with business. Because me and my sisters would have business meetings all the time. So I look back on it and see how I kind of spoke some things over my life. So here I am doing the radio thing, still talking, and turning it into a business at the same time, and just being as professional as I can as possible, and taking everything that I've learned in life to help me mold and build this journey. It's a task. Oh, Lord, it's a task.
That was fantastic. Because, as a parent, I'm thinking about, the time social media coming. We're just catching up, Probably 10 years apart from each other, but we're just catching up. And, I'm thinking as a parent, I'm sitting there watching my kids like, what you doing on that YouTube? You wasting your time. And here it is, I'm sitting up there like, well, now I'm wasting my damn time.
Now, our kids, they're 22, the ones that we're referencing, 22 and 26 now.
Oh, yeah.
So you imagine when social media came out, like their first accounts were under our information.
Exactly.
And so I'm getting emails because somebody is responding to my post, and I look and it's, my child has posted a picture of her sandwich, grilled cheese for lunch. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. So again, that was a shift. And so here it is now. We're trying to be you. We're trying to look. We are, still working full time by day and podcasting on nights and weekends when we can, and trying to venture into other things. So we're trying to get to where you are, because you had the forethought to know that people did want to see that grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Hey, and it's like the way the landscape of the internet has changed drastically. Like, I can remember when it was MySpace and Zanga, and I can remember the Black Planets and Black People Meet. And the internet is not that anymore. Or either the AOL chat rooms, like I have been through it all. Like I like the J. Cole says, the middle child, right? So I'm young enough, I'm old enough to understand what an 8-track was, and see it, but I'm still young enough to hop in the mix with these kids and do TikTok dances.
Right. And it's an odd time and so for us, add to that drinking from the water hose. Now tell us, don't do that because you'll get lead poisoning. Well, so we're in that situation. We used to go to family gatherings, and we would kind of find somewhere and sit because where our parents were, we weren't old enough for that. Then you had this younger group, and they were too young. So we just kind of get in the middle somewhere. Like you said, we're right in the middle somewhere. So hopefully we've gotten into it on time, and we're going to follow the path that you all have created and hopefully carve our own little space. And
a little older group, generation, hats off to you guys. We salute you.
One thing that we have noted, and coming from the space that we're trying to be in from the aspect of relationships, and even though our podcast is about our marriage, we focus on long-term relationships. We love love. We want people to find love and happiness and to find their person. But the internet, I feel like the internet and computers and cell phones have really hurt us in terms of, one, being able to communicate. But one thing, you see these glimpses and bits and pieces that people want you to see.
Yeah.
And we have people emulating that. And so when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships, like you said, in that middle, so you've seen a little bit of both. How do you think relationships have been affected by this whole thing?
So today, dating is like, it's fake, because like you're saying, everyone is striving to be like, okay, I want to be relationship goals like these celebrities. They just have like all of these, like you said, it's a lot of relationship podcasts out there, but they're like spewing a bunch of hurt that they've been through.
Yep.
They have not worked through. You see what I'm saying? Or a lot of people don't have like a stern foundation of what to look for. I come from, like I said in our pitch, I'm a preacher's daughter.
Okay.
So what I've seen is a 2-parent home, and I've seen 2 parents work it out up and down. I mean, and I'm the oldest, so I've seen how they, because, every time you're with their, each parent, you experience them, they're a different person with each child. Growth. So being the oldest, you see how they have certain changes with each child and certain changes within the relationship, and still being a biblical aspect around it. So that's not promoted in the world today. Like that type of vision that I've seen grow up, right? Because that was my relationship goal. I was like, okay, because that's what I've seen growing up. So when you go into the dating world with that mindset and with that thought and bringing that into the world today, it makes it hard because, people, again, are glamorizing relationships from social media.
Right.
It's kind of hard, like finding somebody that kind of like understands where you're from. And when you do find that person, you're like, I got to hold on to you because I don't think I'm gonna find somebody else like that again,
Right. And there's a difference between struggle love, which is a term I don't like, but when people use it and what they're referencing, there's a difference between that and between you're a couple learning to grow together.
Yep.
And so what like if struggle love was an issue, we wouldn't be sitting here today because none of us had anything. And according to the rules of today, he didn't even come to me correct because he should have come to me already with 6 figures. And you know what I'm saying? So the right car, the right place to live. Now, mind you, we were young, and I get as you get older, you want different things. And you should expect different things. But at some point, you have to dial back and think about what's really important.
Exactly. And what you can work through, what you can't work through. Because like you're saying, learning your significant other. I don't think that we're in a generation where people are trying to learn the other person, because half of these people don't even know who they are themselves.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's the scary part. We have people that's just, I feel like, I just had this thought the other day, like, people are just mimicking what they think is right, and they don't know what is right for them. So, like, that's where I am right now, and in my current relationship, just trying to figure out, like, what's right for me, what's right for him, and what's right for us,
Right.
as a collective. And that take work. Like, that's some
Absolutely.
an effort that I have never applied to anybody. I was like, okay, now you go, I'm done. It's like, okay, a true lady, is this effort worth it? Is this going to be the case? It's like, it's a lot of mental conversation.
Right.
And if you don't know who you are, if you don't have a foundation solid,
Right.
how you can get lost in this dating world? I see it.
Right.
I think a lot of times, people with social media now, it's like you're creating an image.
Yeah.
People try to hold on to an image. I think stars do it a lot of times. Rappers.
Which is their job.
That's their job. But people in real life tend to take that and say, "Well, I do the same thing."
Run with it.
Right.
Exactly.
And
one of the things I was trying to tell my daughter one time, we had this conversation recently. She's 22, and she was like, I need to move out. I need to move out. I was like, what is the emphasis on moving out? Why are you so headstrong on moving out? And she was like, well, I got friends who are moving out and blah, blah, blah. And they post on, I said, yeah, but what they don't post it, when they're showing you that townhouse they're living in, they're not telling you that their mother or father are helping them with the rent. They're not telling you mother or father helping you with the car insurance or the car note. They're just posting pictures and showing you, this is my life. That's all that you don't see the real,
Now, keep in mind, she was 19, 20 at the time.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have friends that are, and I explained to her, if you have a friend who is 19 or 20 and they are living on their own and they're taking care of themselves, something is not right.
Right.
Have a family to support, because even if you're moved out, even if you're not in school and you're moved out, you should have some support system still, because you're still learning at that age.
Yep.
I said, but if you have a 19, 20-year-old, they're paying rent, they're paying car payment. I said, they're going to post happy pictures, but they can't be happy because I'm 49 and I'm not happy about it.
Right. They're going through it. Like, that's like, that takes some time budgeting and
You're up to
19, you have like no true clue.
Right.
Oh, he is like,
that child looked at me and said, now that you mention it, they are dealing drugs.
oh no.
Ma'am, now I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong, because the dope game is appealing to you right now. Right.
Let's hone this back in.
So that type of the ideas that are presented or put out there. So earlier he had sent me a post that a lot of times we'll see posts on social media, and we kind of use those as jumping points for conversations on the podcast. Like I said, we're trying to understand this because it doesn't make sense a lot of it doesn't make sense to me. So you're meeting people online. A lot of times you don't even have a lot of conversation with them before y'all are starting to, we're going to go out or we're going to do this. And this young lady, she made a video talking about some man that she had met and how they're in the talking phase, just talking. And he said, he texted her and said, I want to send you money to get lunch. What's your Cash App? And she gave it to him. And she was mad because he sent her $30. Ma'am, this man who is not your husband sent you $30 for lunch. And she said, I was expecting at least 100 because I like appetizer and entree and dessert and drink. Ma'am, it's lunch.
Eat for lunch. How long is your lunch break?
I was right. And he think I was going to Chick-fil-A. First of all, we not fixing to down the Lord's chicken.
Okay.
Because a number one without pickles and a cookie that's all I need for lunch.
Come on. And I'm like, $30, do you know, like, that's lunch for the whole week. If you pinch off of it the right way, you pull the right way, because it's just lunch. You feel what I'm saying? And I saw that video, and man, I just didn't agree with her tactics. And then he made a response video and said that it was his last $30, and he could have sent more once payday came, but he was like, I sent you my last, and you didn't appreciate it. So, what I think, again, people, we're talking about celebrities. We see these celebrities. Sweetie just made a post, and she said she got $25 million on her body. So we think that we're supposed to be living like these people when we don't have the funds to even meet up that's adequate to what these people have. And these celebrities may not even have the money that we think that they have.
Right. Right.
I think that's what's wrong with a lot of dating culture. We hear these songs like Future talk about Nobu and Mr. Chow and all of these extravagant places. Like, these are extravagant places to, like, just us, the regular every working day people, 9-to-5 people, right? And we're like, oh, we got to go there because Future rapped about it, or because the Migos rapped about it, or because B talked about it. We have to go to these lavish restaurants. We get to these lavish places and we're like, oh, wow, this shit cost, but
Right.
it, but if I can find somebody, I'm good. Like, that's what it is. And I feel like we all on this whole trying to impress each other instead of like to know each other. Like, why? I'm not here to impress you. Okay, I'll impress you and woo you throughout the relationship, but we need to get to know each other.
Exactly. You got to earn my $30. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I don't even.
The fact is, what's more impressive than uniform is at some point in time, if you're together for a long period of time, it'll come up short at some point in time.
Yes.
Impress me is how you gonna maneuver through this situation.
Right.
This situation.
Right. You have to earn that thoughtfulness.
Yep.
And that's not by belittling the things that I do along the way. So the unrealistic expectations, like you're naming these celebrities and things, like you said, we need to go back and look at Unsung, and see how easy some of these celebrities are on top of the world one day, and the next day, that's it, because the record companies own them, or because, and now with influencers and things, you have these brands giving you things and providing the funds to do these things. But the minute your follower count drops, then what?
It's a wrap.
Right.
You know?
So it's unrealistic that the average person looking at these things as goals. And another thing that confuses me is the idea of you'll have the same person who will say, I'm a boss bitch, I'm independent, I'm this. And on the flip side of that, if a dude asks you to go out, you're criticizing where he's taking you, and if he's not making 6 figures, he's not worth. Why are you worried about what he's making if you a independent boss bitch?
Right. The problem is people don't want to take care of one another.
Right.
Right. Let me know, because I can be wrong. But in a relationship, we are here to take care of each other in some shape or fashion, not just financial, but emotionally, physically,
Right.
spiritually,
Right.
you know, and like financially, all of that comes in one. And some days, one of the two gonna lack. And you gotta,
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
and you have to be there to build it up for the other person. I mean, that's what a relationship is.
I saw one the other day where this young lady was saying that her man he had been taking care of her for I can't remember the time, man, but he ended up losing his job.
Mm-hmm.
Asked her for help to pay his mortgage or something like that.
Or something. Yeah.
She was offended by that. Was like, what y'all think about that? She was going to the internet for opinion. Like, well, if the man that helped you out all this doggone time, he just needs you to help. He didn't say, yeah, my mortgage. He just said to help me. Help could have been $100. Help could have been $200.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But if we're not willing to do those type of things for one another, then what does that say about us as a society? You know what I'm saying? Like, relationships are going to be like that,
On the end of that post, and she was upset because he sent her a spreadsheet, and over their 3-year relationship, he had given her about $20,000 total.
Oh, wow.
And so then people in the comments they're more stuck on a spreadsheet. So he probably, when he asked her for help and she said no, he was probably
said, what? So you know what?
Right.
They got a spreadsheet without a spent on this, bro.
It's like, no, we are not obligated to return a favor to someone, but we're in a relationship.
Oh,
right.
If you've been taking care of me or holding me down in situations that no one has ever held me down in, I do expect for you to come and, because there is an expectation. Well, at least once, twice, 3 times. There's something to not return the favor, but say you got me the way I got you, So,
right.
It's not asking you to take care. I don't think he was asking to take care of her. He was just
right. For sure.
Yeah, but all the thing, $200 help. Didn't necessarily have to be money. Like, well, look, I can pay the mortgage, but I ain't gonna be able to eat for 2 weeks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So can you help feed me?
And do you know how hard it is for a man to really ask for help?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Like, man, like, it's just
We'll let the back call him before we go.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say, sometimes I think we the problem.
And so that I had to like I said earlier, I had to reassess myself because sometimes I know I could be the issue. I'm like, you know what? It's me in this moment. And then for me to verbally speak it and say, yep, you know what? It was me in that moment. It's a lot of accountability on both ends,
Yeah. I worry about our future. So
yeah.
And then there's this idea of, I know everything. I don't want nobody telling me nothing. And so I'm like, how is it gonna correct itself if you're blocking and you're not listening?
Right. And it's kind of like it is not gonna correct itself. You gotta be the one to correct it.
Right.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of, like I said earlier, having that foundation within yourself to know yourself, to understand yourself, to be like, you know what? And that means knowing the good and bad of you.
Right.
I'm just the best person. And it's like, okay, you have these good qualities, but you have these bad things about yourself too.
Right.
That's some real work, I mean, I'm talking about it, but like putting it into action is like real work, and it's tough. It's difficult.
I don't want to just say it's younger generations. I'll swing over to our generation because I have a friend who divorced. She's been divorced for a few years now, but she divorced after 20 years. She starts on apps and she's looking for people and she's going on dates. And some of the things that it blew my mind. Yeah. And I remember one day a few years back, we were talking about something, and he was like, well, I ain't going nowhere because I don't want to have to meet somebody else and, whatever. And it hurt my little feelings because you're supposed to say, I ain't going nowhere because I love you. I don't have nobody but you. And so hurt my little feelings. And then, I don't know, it was about a year ago, I looked at him, I said, I get it now. Because I'm not going anywhere either because people are crazy.
Yep.
There's a lot going on out in this world.
It really is.
And then you get people that's in our age range and up. And if they've been single, they're kind of stuck in their ways.
Yep.
No, and so that's what I'm breaking because I've been single for a very long time. Like I said, this is my first real relationship. So like breaking those bad habits, and understanding that it's not going to take over. It's not going to be overnight either.
Right.
And you like, you start getting like, you did all this work, like, I did all this work. So I hope it pays off, but it just like, I did all this work and let this be the right person that you do all this work for,
Right.
But it's just.
Now that's a lesson that I had to learn. And so we're friends for several years. We got married young. We've grown up together.
Oh, wow.
But there came a time, in fact, it was after starting the podcast where I finally, after 25 years, finally let all walls down because I felt like in order to, like, if anything were to happen with us, if we were to split, I can honestly say I put forth every bit of effort. I gave my all. Yeah. No, you can't prevent yourself from being hurt in any situation.
Right.
So I can put a wall up. If something happens, I'm still going to be hurt. But if something happens now, at least I can say, well, it ain't on me. It's
right.
He finally decided, well, maybe I will.
If we talking about putting those walls down, like that's what big I struggle with vulnerability.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had to be vulnerable with anybody. It's like I just tell you what it is and keep it pushing. Yep. So like actually being open and expressing like, hey, this is how I feel in this moment. This is what I'm going through, instead of me just going in my shell and not explaining it to anybody. Like that was so difficult. Like that was hard,
It's the thing about it, especially with men, y'all women, y'all's thought process is way out here. You know what I'm saying? Like to stretch my arms way out as far as I can, and it reaches down there. But us, our thought process is right here. Right here. Wide as my head, right here.
That's
so
I'm learning.
But so it's really simple when it comes down to the thought. But the thing is with us, it's like if somebody be like, well, he should know by now that I like this. Well, if you ain't told him, he ain't gonna know. And quit trying to make a man figure shit out. It ain't gonna happen. Right?
I saw a post like that today, and this was in a wives group, and those women were in agreement that it gets exhausting having to tell, and he should know. And I ain't say a word because, first of all, that's expecting him to read minds.
Yep.
Right. That's not fair. But if you were to reverse that, well, if a man is saying that a woman should know, those women would have had a fit.
Yep.
So I didn't say anything because I was in the little minority, but I don't expect him to be able to read my mind. So I have to, like you said, I have to be vulnerable. I have to let him know I didn't like that. This is how it made me feel. And then it's on him to do with that what he does with it.
What he chooses.
Right.
I pick the answer,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're not going to listen to anything valuable in an argument. So a lot of times,
right,
how you come to this conversation, when you to the argument is over, you come and say, hey, baby, look, this is how I felt about what you said in this situation. How I feel. Okay. Well, you giving that to him and said, okay, now the ball is in your court. Now
Yeah.
he decides to do it then. Well, that's on him. I told you how this made me feel. So I think a lot of times with, especially with Black people, I think that we're so scared to take risks because we feel like if it fails, then we just lost a whole lot of time. But life is a risk.
Right.
Everything. You take a risk every time you get in your car. You know.
Absolutely.
It's just not guaranteed that you're gonna come back home. So it's all the risk.
And when you say that, like putting all that and then it fails, sometimes there's a lesson in the failure.
Right.
You grow from.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people take that into consideration either. It's just like, there was a lesson there. I grew up from this. Oh, this is what I learned from this.
Right.
I strive to see like the positive in everything. Like, I would rather see it like that than wonder about the negative. I was told maybe like 2-3 weeks ago that we as human beings, we have about 60,000 thoughts go through our mind throughout the day. And about 10,000 to 20,000 of those thoughts are negative thoughts. And when I sat there and I analyzed, it blew my mind. I was like, oh, wow. Just like he was saying about how like women do this and because we overthink. That could be me. Like, I can overthink. So now I'm like, okay, no, we're going to overthink in the positive, Kim.
Right.
There you go.
Right. But, and that's what we'll text or we'll write. So you have time to process it because in the moment, it's
trying to get down. It's neck snapping, finger snapping. It's like, I don't want to hear shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you have to be realistic about the communication game.
Yeah, exactly. So, ooh, child, y'all done got me up here feeling my seat.
I'm so
But that's the reason why we decided to do the Beyond I Do podcast. Is one part is people stay together, you know, married couples. But besides, I'm single people to kind of get a heads up, like, hey, this is what you can look forward to. But if you do the work, you can have this long-term relationship.
Yeah, gotta do the work.
So, I mean, we're helping each other because I love Black love, she love Black love.
Yeah.
Love, period. But Black love is like number one.
Yeah.
You know, we just, you know, when it comes to media, it's like we hate each other, we can't stand each other.
Right.
You know, but
that's the reality of a relationship because there will be those moments like, you aggravated me, you know? So,
But the thing is, you have to build that connection so that when I look at him and tell him, you know, I don't like you right now, then take it and run.
look, I promise you, before we even record today, I came home.
Yeah.
There was a little something going on in her.
Yeah. It was.
You know, I sat here for a little bit. You know, I'm gonna go over here.
Get him later. I knew we had
To the other side. I'm gonna do my little thing.
Get him later.
We'll come back together later. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always gonna be smiles up in your face and kisses all the time. Sometimes you the hell away to be right now.
I'm glad he picked up on it though. I'm proud now. I'm proud because it was coming and I didn't want it to be too unexpected.
I said,
So now I know.
Lord over here will take the iPad.
He did. He needed to sit next. He knew. So I'm glad now. So now I know I won't be catching him off guard or nothing. But I'm going to get him like. And it's all in love. When we get done, we're going to be in love still.
Yeah.
exactly. But see, that's our application process. So I get it.
Right. Because if it had come out earlier, we wouldn't have been sitting here with you. We would have you have with us.
We're going to push through and we're going to handle what we got to handle.
That's right. And at the end, and even now, before we handle it, if somebody comes and says something about it, I'm going to be ready to fight.
That's a fact. That's a fact. We're going to blow up.
Are we having another guest join?
Oh, I think Nova J said she was coming. So that's another part of the cast.
Right.
Okay, all right.
All right, the more the merrier.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I know he happy. We're prolonging it. We're prolonging it a little bit. I'm still gonna get him. Hello.
Nova J MUA.
Jacob.
Oh, it says audio's connected. But yeah, that's like I said, we grew up together. And so even in that though, even in the comfort of being around each other this long, being as close, we're best friends. We were best friends even before. So there's a comfort there.
Yeah.
But it took, it was when we started the podcast is when, like, there are some things that I had been through that he knew a little bit about, but now he knows about. And those things affected me with the way I handled him, with the way I handled my kids. And, so he knows more about that now. I'm glad that he was there with me and willing to stick with me while I worked through things. But, it's communication, and it's putting forth the effort and deciding that you're gonna stick together and work towards the same goal.
Yep.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
All right. And we have someone else who was joining us as a part of the Catch the Tea podcast. She goes by the name of Nova J.
How is everybody doing?
Hey, how you doing?
The struggle bus is a regular stop by here. It's okay.
That's right. That's
Just
right.
okay.
This is tough for everybody.
Let me tell you, just save him. You just save him. Because he and I have an appointment after this. And so we're glad you do. He's very glad. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing. I'm okay. Like we got the child.
We've been talking about relationships and the change with social media and chasing the bag and all this goodness.
Yeah, she had
Mm-hmm.
to let something be known.
Right. You had to leave somebody.
Look like she might be having a conversation we gonna have.
I don't know if I'm gonna smile when we have it.
You don't know me, bitch.
Yes, I didn't gather somebody.
I'm gonna slap.
I did.
Oh, you gonna smile? He said he smile.
I had to gather somebody. I did.
Look, that's what he said. Look like the conversation we gonna have. Oh, you're the only.
I'm so sorry, y'all. Like, cause they came out of nowhere.
It's okay. It is okay. It's all
Open my door. Take the key and lock the door.
Look,
Sorry.
it's okay. I feel it. I feel you.
Look,
It is okay. Let it out.
let it all out.
Yes, I get it.
That's what we here for.
Sorry. Continue with your question. I'm so sorry.
We had just been talking about relationships and love and the state of relationships and social media and its impact on how we view life. So what else?
We brought up the girl with the $30 lunch, and that's where we went from there. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Said enough about that today. Oh, wow.
I'm still like, and then the way she threw Chick-fil-A out there, it's bad. Like, I felt offended. He expect me to get Chick-fil-A, ma'am. It is my pleasure, right?
Lord.
It's their pleasure. So I really didn't appreciate that part. And somebody in the comments said, you could shut her down with a washcloth.
You know what? Look, I said that last year at the end of the year. I was not arguing with anybody who could be humbled by a white bed sheet. And I was like, Yeah, not right.
And see, I'm just, I don't have a great job I'm trying to maintain. So I don't comment, but I keep telling him, when we no longer work for the man, very reckless.
Right.
I'm going to have to speak my mind on a regular basis. So I'm waiting. I have a little list of stuff that I'm just going to go back and bring up.
Talked about such and such. Yeah.
I'm just going to be posting some old random stuff. Back in 2023, this happened. I really felt
Purpose timing.
Yep.
Right.
So we were talking about the changes with social media and how people, you curate this life and you put it out there. And it's funny because when we started this, so moment of transparency. So I've been in therapy now for about 3.5 years. And so we get ready to start our podcast. And I have horrible anxiety about it because here we are going on the internet, telling people about being married and what it takes to be married. And so I asked my therapist, I said, well, what happens if me and him split up? I said, what happens if, in the middle of podcasting, he looks over and say, I'm going to leave. Like, what? And she said, well, at this point, you've been married for 24 years, and a lot of people can't say that. You still have a lot to offer. That brought me a little bit of comfort, but I was still like, but do I really know the question? Right. But people, so I know that for us to say that people curate a life and put out there, people can say the same thing about us. But we try to be as genuine as possible.
Yeah.
But some of the things that we see put out there, I'm like, wow, if this is how you really feel, like the $30, like if you really, I hope that baby did that for some attention. I really do.
I tell you what, seeing any brother $30.
They're going to be happy to
Send me $30.
Right.
Bro, I'm going, hey, look here, bro. She sent me $30. I'm going with it. I can at least get me 3 pieces of chicken out of this game. You know what I'm saying?
Going to church. You going to church.
You know what? I'm here for the church's ministry because I don't like how they play churchy. Okay? Because I ain't nothing wrong with churches. And please give me a fresh apple pie with extra ice.
I have a pepper.
That's what I'm saying.
And a biscuit. And a large drink because the biscuit is going to stick to.
Yep.
No, I don't rice. Some dirty rice. Get some church's French fries. Don't do that.
Now I don't know about you, but the only churches that we have left, this is not where you want to go at nighttime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, church like the bar. We had a good church, but it closed. So now I got to Jackson. Well, Jackson kind of. They push. Yeah, they push it. They borderline. They real close to being
Ours don't never have. First of all, how you keep running out of chicken? How many chicken does?
That sound like our Taco Bell running out of meat.
See, you got churches, you got a street, and then you have this convenience store that the city is talking about closing down because people keep getting shot there.
Oh, wow. This churches.
Yes. To go to our churches, you really have to want that 3-piece.
That's why I go.
And you got to risk it all.
I go around lunchtime, daytime.
Yeah, you daytime.
You gotta risk it all.
You're risking it all.
Because they don't have the chicken cook. Now, the flip side of that is your chicken is going to be fresh. Yeah. Because for whatever reason, I don't know if they cook it like by the order. I don't know why, but they're running out of chicken.
Yeah.
Probably because they got to get it before the lights go out.
Before the dog. There you go.
Before we carry on, let's raise a hand because all of us survived the Popeye's chicken sandwich and we didn't get murdered.
I don't know about y'all, but I I didn't venture to Popeyes. I'm not.
I already had the sandwich. I don't know who made the sandwich go viral, but it was like it was just something that was brand new, and it wasn't. It had already been there. No, I swear. I was like, already there. This was so crazy how social media works, y'all. Yeah. And that time, I was like, I do remember just regularly going to get this Popeye's chicken sandwich with no hassle, with no nothing. It wasn't it was like, it was okay. But like social media, boom, they set a blame to it.
Wait, think about the fact that somebody lost their life.
Yep.
Yeah.
A sandwich.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's crazy to me. That is so crazy.
Yep.
Because some I pick up and not everybody want to give one. I don't understand it.
I know several people that got the sandwich and they only got it one time because it didn't agree with them.
Uh-huh.
Me.
So you think about somebody going and losing their life.
Yep.
We had one of the locations of Popeyes, and it's funny because it's in the more suburban area. They had to send cops over daily to for traffic because people were in the road, stopped in the drive-through line.
Trying to get that 10.
They had to redirect traffic for multiple days over a damn not even the Lord's chicken.
And brothers like me was mad. I couldn't even get the damn 2-piece. I just want
Right, the regulars. We just wanted
like need a sandwich line and a no sandwich line. Like for real.
Yep.
Well, what about the KFC sandwich? Well,
I didn't KFC.
Okay. See,
now when I was eating meat and eating chicken, I like KFC chicken because I like the herbs in their
the secret thing.
Herbs and spices, you know, pepper. And I like that fish fries.
Yep. I felt like yes. Look at.
I see the judge over there.
What's that look though?
I like the fact that they had came out with 3 kinds of fried chicken because the original is trash. It don't taste like it's done. Like you need to fry it a little longer. Now the extra crispy is the one I would get because it tastes like the chicken is done through. Like KFC to me is a acquired taste. It's just not something that I just be like, ooh, I'm gonna roll up on KFC. Like I feel like the Colonel was just trying to do his thing, trying a little too hard.
You know, the Colonel in the 60s when he came up with KFC. So,
Well, when he stole the idea, let's get that right.
oh,
Yeah, let's talk about that point.
Come on.
I was like KFC because they were one of the only few places that had baked chicken. You know, right? But they did the grilled chicken, yeah. Nobody else had that, and I loved it. Because sometimes you don't want the crispy skin. Sometimes you really just want the juicy chicken, you know? So that was they got me with that. But I had a feeling about KFC.
Out is why the rotisserie chicken is smaller than the fried chicken. Like,
look,
you give me the rotisserie
The
chicken.
fried chicken is really just the batter. Yeah, chicken batter. So when you peel all that batter off, that chicken not all that big either.
and going back to churches, I want to know why their wings are so big.
They pump them, that's steroid chicken.
Something. Because the wings are a size of a good thigh or breast.
I would not tolerate no church slander because I'm tired of going to Popeyes and getting 4 drumheads pushed off as a wing in my face. So I will not. I just love this small chicken. Or anorexic, and it needs to stop. Y'all too high for that small chicken y'all be giving people. I really want $30 for 5 pieces of chicken and a big bottle.
Yeah.
Ain't wrong with it.
And
Get
they're
breakfast in general. Like that bland rice.
Yeah. But yeah. You said it, and I believe it. Yes.
Relationships these days.
look, y'all started speaking his love language. Y'all
It's not it. What we talking about?
he can eat
But
fried chicken.
the relationship let me tie this in. Your
Okay.
relationship with your food.
Uh-huh.
If you take that same thought,
Uh-huh.
you can manifest it in a relationship with your lover.
Come on. Cook. Come on. Come on.
And y'all gonna encourage that. Okay.
Come on.
Y'all can encourage that because this is for y'all. But later on, I'm gonna be hearing fried chicken references.
It'll be all right. I'm just gonna give me
He
some.
wants you to go good in that kitchen and grab that good old.
So what?
He wanted homemade. No, sorry. It's okay, but it ain't nothing like some homemade fried chicken.
Look,
It's true.
that's a dangerous thing because I fry and smother food. I learned to make gravy probably about 10 years ago. I had been trying, and I just happened upon the gravy. And after that, for a good month, I smothered a little bit of everything.
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 I would love to possess.
That's because she had to make sure she mastered it. That's what that was.
Yes. And so now, it ain't nothing. Whip up a little gravy with something and look at y'all. Y'all got me talking Chucky. Look. Y'all got me Chucky talking now.
Sorry. No, we just some friends at home.
Okay. Let's rein this in. Let's rein this in. You talking about food all night. So, Miss Nova J, all right. Tell us who you are, and tell us who you are.
Okay, so I am a hairstylist and makeup artist, licensed hairstylist and makeup artist. Let me put that out there. I run my own business. I'm also heavy a community activist, especially for the youth. And I'm a Sagittarius. I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, Lord.
Sagittarius, and I have 3 kids. So, yeah.
Are you a December Sagittarius?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
The 16th.
Oh, Lord. My son is December 20th.
Come on. Y'all don't miss the mark. Yeah.
My mom was December 6th. Oh, my goodness. Y'all are exhausting.
Oh, sure. See, it's a difference between December and the November. The Decembers are always better.
And it's funny that you say that. I met someone today, and they said that exact same thing. They were a November one, though. And they said there's such a difference. And they said,
they're nicer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they give off a good reference of what the Sagittarius is. They're like the face of the Sagittarius. The December ones, we are more, the ones you really have to be careful with, we're more blunt.
Yep.
We are laid back, but we will lean up. And they just do not care. Like, see, the thing with us is a lot of Sagittarius, if you pay attention to them, they are really introverts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they are extroverts to some extent, maybe due to job or career or whatever.
Wow.
But like, once we have had enough human interaction, we go. Like, we love people, but we don't like dealing with people. If that makes
Yes.
Right.
My son, we have had that conversation because personality wise, he is so much like me as now parts of it. But then he has the personable charisma and whatnot from his dad. And so he's like, he works in food and he's bartends. And so he's on it. But when he's done,
that's it.
Done.
Yeah.
And right. There's no easing out of it. It just cuts off. And so I'm trying to help him learn the art of easing off because you working for tips.
Yep.
You working for tips. You got to ease off of it.
You can't shut down.
Right. Right. Now, see, I'm a Gemini, so I can flip back and forth.
I have one of those.
I birthed
a Gemini, I birthed an Aquarius, and I birthed a Virgo.
A Gemini?
Yes.
Yeah, girl or boy?
Yes.
Girl.
Girl is the Aquarius.
let me tell you, a June Gemini. Oh,
It's something different. And what you know, crazy because he is really like my most laid back child. Like he's easygoing. He's like he has an old soul. But like he's the sweetest thing. But when he is angry,
yes,
Okay.
God,
yes.
Okay.
I don't want to let him loose on nobody. And I just be like, leave him where he's at. He'll give you the shirt off his back, the sweetest thing ever. I always think of others before himself. But when you have true turkey demon, that's it.
Yes, yes. Sorry. Yes, I had a moment though. But I tell people all the time, I match energy wherever you want to go.
Go.
Hey, we could go together. We
Okay. Hello? Because if you go low, I'm going to hell.
look right, right. I don't know about turning other cheek. I don't know about any.
You know what? I feel like be the bigger person is for chumps because that's like the ultimate level of playing in my face because you don't respect me at all.
I ain't but
I
five.
would to give you grace.
I ain't bigger than nobody. I'm not bigger. Now, what I can say is it takes a lot to get me there. Like I can ignore a lot,
Right.
overlook a lot.
Right.
But I tell you, if I get to that point, oh, all bets off.
Yeah, you deserve everything.
Mine hurt feelings. I enjoy tears. I don't mind it at all. So, it takes a lot for me to get to that place.
She made me cry. I didn't get over this.
No. She put you forward.
But you still
I had the silent cry.
look. Let y'all know about this evening. Because when we get off, we still
Oh, please don't cry when you get off.
look.
It wasn't that bad. It was just like, we grew up different. She grew up in a volatile environment, and I grew up in more of a
South.
softer
Suburban,
environment.
two-family, two-parent,
We had to merge those two, and so she was more direct, where I was just like, I'm on.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, get it right there. So I had to learn,
And I've calmed a lot as I've gotten older too. Like he told me a few years back, he said, we go to restaurants and I'd get nervous. I said, bitch, I'm thirsty too. Why you keep filling up his drink? You keep coming over here. He ain't even trying to at the table. But I done moved.
I bitch always smiling at you.
I done moved up over. Smile back at him if you want to. Smile back. I will knock this table up.
She go back to the table. I'm like this.
Because I would flip this whole table over. I would flip all
I will knock stuff over. What is? And then look just as crazy and innocent. What? What happened?
you die energy.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, as I've gotten older, I'm calm, and it takes a lot to get me there. Now, it takes a lot to rein me back in too.
I'm the
You go back to Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one time.
calls us the horrible November Scorpio. According to the internet, we're just the worst.
And he's not. Y'all, he's so nice. He's a nice one.
I don't see.
I'm a Scorpio too. The 31st of October.
31st of November 10th.
So,
Just
the only thing that I've ever seen that holds true is he's stubborn. And when I say he's stubborn, like,
Yeah, I have admitted
like
that.
he is stubborn.
He hasn't been bad.
When the boy was a baby, I'm sitting there holding the baby, and he's starting to whimper. And I said, "Can you please get a bottle?" And he said, "Yeah." He's sitting next to me on the couch watching TV, and the baby is starting to get a little fussy, getting a little bit louder. I said, "Get the bottle." I told you, yeah. I ain't say nothing. I'm rocking the baby. He gets the bottle, comes back. So later on, I said, "Why did you do that? I wasn't asking you to do something for me. I'm asking you to get a bottle for your son. Why did you?" And he said to me, when my mom and daddy used to ask me to do stuff and I was a child, I had to do it. I had to do it right then. I'm grown now.
Not the rebellion of authority. Oh,
What?
all right. Because ain't nobody call me but me. That's the problem.
So what you're telling me is next time, just hand you this baby and you decide when you're going to get up.
I mean, just gotta think about it now. Coming up in them days, hey, come here. It's like, come here fast. So now I'm a grown ass man. I can't come at the first call. Now the second call, you got me.
Yeah.
There's logic to that. You know what I'm saying?
But what, 2 or 3 times now on camera, he has admitted that he is in fact stubborn. So that's all I needed.
Yeah.
I needed a little.
Definitely, most definitely.
Right.
Well, this has been wonderful.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself.
But I'm a little aged. It's getting close to my bedtime. I hate to wrap it up, but we need to do something else.
Yeah, we need to do this again.
This has been so enjoyable.
And the next time, I'm gonna hope the entire cast can join us the next time, because I think everyone could chime in on this conversation. I mean, we talking about so much.
So Nova J and True Lady, y'all like to y'all do the podcast exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our listeners, if they wanted to hear you guys' podcast and get in contact with you, how can you be reached?
Well, if you follow the podcast, there's CTT Media Group on all social media platforms, and listen to us, stream us, Catch the Tea podcast on all podcast platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you see us there. And the new season, you can watch the videos on our Patreon, which is CTT Media Group. That'll be the only place you can find our video clips is on our Patreon. So we're going to encourage everyone to subscribe to us there, CTT Media Group. And so be prepared for season 8. We're getting ready to start this week. So I'm really excited about that. Because we got some things to say. We talked about it tonight, but we got some things to say on Catch the Tea Live.
All right. So once again, we want to thank y'all for joining us this evening. We definitely want to get together and once y'all settle down from your new season, working on that, see if we can have you back. But we appreciate your time this evening.
Ladies.
Please have us back.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Beyond I Do podcast.
Please make sure to like this episode and also subscribe to our podcast. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Beyond I Do podcast.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all.